on the TIF, particularly in the early days of the project, because that's the most challenging for us. It's a capital-intensive project. There's a long period from starting to actually generating any revenue, and we structured the TIF to marry that challenge. Over time, as we do better, that gets relieved, and the terms of the TIF change accordingly. Quick overview of the project. I know people are probably interested in what's going on. There are lots of demos been picked. Even since the last time I was here in the last meeting, there's been quite a bit of progress on the site. Demo is well underway, and the pace is picking up. I met with AIM today, and they are on pace to make some continued progress over the next couple weeks, which is a real enabler for us and for Maine Maritime. So I think collectively we're all glad to see that progress. We've submitted for our SLOTA application for the state construction permitting site law. The DEP is now reviewing that. We expect to hear back shortly that they've officially accepted. In the meantime, we're using that work and applying it to the criteria for the town permitting. I expect in a few weeks' time we'll be submitting the town construction permit application. Our goal is to submit in August and then get on the meeting agenda for September. Our expectation is to get into earthwork this year. So that means finishing site prep, any remaining demo, and getting into the deeper earthwork to enable the first couple phases of construction. We'll do that through the winter. We'll start this year, do that through the winter, and then our plan is to have a strong start. I'll call it value-added construction type of a start in the spring. There's a solid 2 years of construction for this first phase, and then there's 2 years of growing fish. Right, so the next 4 to 5 years are there's a pretty big scope in front of us, a pretty big challenge before the business is really up and running in a production type capacity. Over that time, we expect to grow to 75 jobs. And that is in line with the scope that marries what we've applied for conditional approval on the SLOTA. There are other phases that come into line after that. There's potential upwards of 200 jobs in the in-state full grow out, full everything, and expansion on the site. That's probably a 10-year plan. This TIF matches the first scope of 75 jobs with the first approval request in SLOTA. Subsequent projects would lead to further discussion. So I think that's a pretty good overview of the project. Again, I just want to thank everybody for your consideration. I think this is a great relationship, and we look forward to participating in the future and growing and learning and executing this project together. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody from the public have any questions, comments?
Just a quick question. I don't really understand all the ins and outs of this, but what does 5 years, 100% reimbursable mean for the town?
That means that for the first 5 years that the TIF is in effect, 100% of the taxes that they pay on the development of the land would be returned to them. During that time, however, the town would receive 100% of the business equipment tax proceeds, which during that 5-year period is about $6 million. So during the time that it's at 100% reimbursement to them for their taxes, and they pay them, we give them back. It's not somebody else's. The town would also be realizing an additional $6 million in revenue coming to it from that development.
Thank you.
I just have a question about the TIP program applies. Paul Raps, Bucks Mills Road. The TIP program applies to what's within the acreage currently in the fence line, correct? this is Whole Oceans and the acreage they bought, okay,
That's
and the
correct.
project that's coming in. So what happens when the project moves along, for example, and we now have Whole Oceans Logistics to get the product out the door, or third-party logistics company comes in, or they build the Ed Center, or the engineering company needs a building on site. Because it's within the fence line, does that TIF program continue on to them?
The
Or
TIF
does that
program
become-
outlines this valuation base, it's in the same thing, but it would require another action to extend it beyond what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else from the public? Anything from the council?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'm hopeful that this will be, and I have every anticipation that this will provide a good corporate neighbor. And the proof is kind of in the pudding of that as to how much you stay involved in community activities. And what is your thinking on that, of things that the corporation could hopefully to advance the idea of a good corporate neighbor, just in general terms?
Is now a good time to get up, or do you want?
Yes, it is.
I appreciate that question. We have like a lot of companies, mission, vision, values, guiding principles, right, and to help kind of give us bearing. And when we convene with our board and have a broader meeting with our other partners and leadership, we always start off by looking at that. And two of them that are relevant here is environmental stewardship and social and community values. So we start off those meetings really just to kind of give us bearing and make sure that over time the incremental decisions we're making are kind of in line with the path that we've laid out. So my opening comments about alignment between local government, community, and the company is part of that. On a personal level, my involvement in Bucksport has given me more satisfaction with this job than I anticipated around a lot of the aspects that really attracted me to it. So I think that relationship will just continue to grow, to be honest with you, and that is very much my intent and my commitment. We want to be a part of the community. This is a relationship, and we're in this for the long term.
Yeah, in the corporate overview, there were little things that happened when St. Regis was here, like buying uniforms for a baseball team or something like that, and that kind of stuff goes a long way, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's looking for an indoor pool.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I wasn't going to lead into that. We would even name it after your corporation.
Maybe a retaining wall.
Thank you.
That is good. If he's not, somebody is.
Anything else from the council?
Did I answer your question? Is anything else?
Yes, thank you.
The one quick question I have is, how does this compare with other TIFs that we've done? As far as percentages and things like that go?
I think that Rich, where's Rich?
Hi.
I don't,
First of all, let me apologize. I just got done refereeing the soccer game. I was trying to get here for my part earlier.
And you didn't make it.
And I
so-
didn't make it, and I looked foolish, so I apologize. I didn't have to change of clothes. But we had a TIF at the former Ellis and Garrett, which ended in 2016. That's where the Family Dollar complex is. That was a 75, and then went down to a 50. We had a TIF on the Ledbetter property. That ended when the property was sold to Warrens. That was at a 50-50. And you had two TIFs, to the best of my knowledge, at the mill site. I do apologize. I don't
And that's
have the
right.
figures on those.
I guess what I'm trying to get, this isn't new.
This
is
isn't new. When you're talking about what this can do for you, I think Jim summed it up great at the first meeting when he presented. It shelters the value of the increase. If you think of what happened to the town when the mill shut down, leadership got together with the superintendent of schools and worked out what was called sudden and severe. So instead of needing 3 years of a large evaluation and having to pay that get less money for the schools. We came together, got stuff done in Augusta, and we had that for 2 years of the higher valuation. Think of this as we'll be sheltering this value at the purchase price they purchased, what they got. That money, once it does come in, will help by, first of all, our value is sheltered, but we're not going to see county taxes raised. We're not going to see less as it comes to school funding, and we're not going to see less in revenue sharing from the state. All three are very key. If you take that right up front, today we're looking at, I believe the figure is about 50,000 is the difference if we don't do the TIF.
Right.
I mean, doing the TIF is beneficial. If you look at all the projects that are listed under that TIF, it's going to help the town in a very long way, and it's going to help the company along and make this a whole nice, smooth transition for everybody.
I got a quick question. I don't know if it's germane to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. The Maine Maritime purchase, that doesn't affect valuation at all because of how they're set up, or?
The Maine Maritime Association property was owned by AIM at the time of
The last taxation?
well, at the time of the assessment date this year, April 1st. The amount paid informs the assessor in terms of what that value of the overall AIM parcel is, and can be considered and was considered in this year's assessment. How that is worked out between AIM, and who will get the bill, and others is to be determined. But that's,
Okay.
it could inform because it was received before and it wasn't based on anything being added or subtracted to the land. Our assessors here, who I think I've tried to concisely describe what that was, but that,
Okay.
the
And again,
breakdown of
that's
that between
I apologize,
AIM
that's
and
really not part
others
of
is
this.
not.
I wanted to, I was asking
Yeah.
a question for myself more than anything else, so thank you.
That sale and the whole ocean sale have informed the value of that parcel.
Perfect.
That's the best way I can.
And then AIM still has their piece anyway. That's,
Yes, AIM still has the power plant and that landfill.
Yep. Any other questions or comments from the, thank you, Rich.
I think I'm good.
Declare the public hearing closed. Is this a
Motion
result
to
for next
approve.
time?
No, this is this.
Now, right?
Yep.
You got a motion in a second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the TIF for Whole Oceans. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, next item on the agenda is discussion items not on the agenda. Open up to the public first. Public have anything that's not on the agenda tonight that we want to discuss? Council?
Just curious about the taking down the stacks and all the stuff down there. Is there a schedule out, or is there any place to find out when they're taking that stuff down? Because they took one of the stacks down and I missed it. And I wanted to see.
I've heard that so many times. I missed it
I was
too.
there.
Were you?
I just like
Um,
Is there-
I
In other
don't
words, when that
know.
big one comes down, we better know.
I want to know when the stuff's happening. 'Cause it's
I
pretty
can
big.
check with Jeff McGlynn what I think the contractors have an assignment. I don't know that they report to him every.
Yeah, that one, Jeff wasn't there when it came down, so, but I think if we check with him, maybe we can,
I've
I'll
had a lot
check
of
with
people
him.
ask me too. It's a pretty big event for the town. Like when the big ones come down, we should be able to, I don't know,
Should have a
do
picnic.
something. Yeah, we should do something over there.
Yeah, so
I'll
they
check
cut-
on the deconstruction.
I was here when they took the tannery.
It'd be cool if they took it down during the Bay Festival.
That's about 5
Yeah.
years old.
The Bay Festival would be
Cool.
cool. Probably see that from
Can
your
you
house,
make that
probably.
happen?
Yeah,
Could you just make sure it's down? during the
anything,
Bay Festival?
any other discussion items for the upcoming public hearings or committee assignments? Do we have one we want to?
You want to schedule
think
well,
we-
no, it's a first reading for the Silver Lake one, because that's the.
Well, that's gotta go, doesn't that have to go to the ordinance committee?
We just
It
did.
just did
That's what it
tonight.
was, we came through with it.
Right, but don't we have to like change it?
You have to
I
get
thought-
language for a
For the
first
language?
reading
For
for
first
the
reading.
next.
Do we want to look at fees? I mean, just start to
Sure.
finish those up and talk
Try to
about,
get 'em done.
and talk about the, you know, the planning board fees. I think we still need to,
So regulatory review next time, what
yeah,
time?
6:30, I think is fine. That's all we've got. And that is it.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed?